Hello dear students. In standard 10th science in lab science lab processes chapter, today we are going to start our next topic, or we will be finishing the next topic or the last topic in the human digestive system, and that will be for the large intestine. But before going on there, and afterwards we will discuss the human respiratory system and what is the respiration and why the respiration will be necessary to all kinds of organisms. So we'll be discussing that topic also. But before going on to that topic, let us discuss the previous topics that we have already finished in this chapter. So far in this chapter we have seen the lots of processes. Like we have seen the first process is the nutrition process, in which we have seen the autotrophic nutrition. Also we have finished the autotrophic nutrition. How can we explain the autotrophic nutrition? So for that we have known that the organisms which created their own foods and then utilizes into the energy, these types of nutrition process will be called as the autotrophic nutrition. This is the phenomena we have already finished. After that we have seen that what is the photosynthesis equation. Okay, there we have seen that how can we write the photosynthesis processes equation, chemical equation, in which we have seen that the plants will intake the carbon dioxide gas, also intake the water, and then it creates the three products that will be glucose, water vapor, water droplets, and also created the oxygen. And the process will be taken in the presence of the sunlight and also in the presence of the chlorophyll. Okay, so that will be the condition, and that is the necessarily condition required for the photosynthesis process will be taken. Afterwards we have started the steps for photosynthesis. Also we have seen the working of stomata. Also we have finished the what is the procedure or what is the function of stomata. So these are the very important questions that will be sometime asked in the board examination in 2 marks. Okay, for 2 marks. So you have to memorize that. Okay, and we have already finished that topic. Afterwards we have started the nutrition process in single cellular organism, and in which we have seen the amoeba's digestive system. And then afterwards we have started the human digestive system. Already in that system we have finished the first and second stage of human digestive system. In first stage we have seen that total 7 parts of digestion system will be given as here. Okay, we will be look out for that now. Okay, so here it is all the parts. You can see the parts name already written in the previous lecture, that this is the mouth. Okay, then food pipe, then stomach, then liver, pancreas. These are all the things that we have already seen in the previous lecture. Okay, then liver, pancreas, small intestine, large intestine will be seen. Okay, so these are the things that we have already finished. Okay, where we have already seen the functions and the procedure regarding the mouth, food pipe, stomach, liver, pancreas, and small intestine. In today's lecture we are going to finish the large intestines process. Okay, in which we are going to see what is the procedure happening in the large intestine. So generally in the large intestine process, what will be happen in the large intestine process? So we can write that digestion in the human beings okay. So as you can see, in all the procedure we have seen that there is some kinds of solid or substances digestion will be happening. But what about the water substance that we are absorbing during the eating or eating in the food? Okay, so for digestion of the food, or for the digestion of water, or the water will get absorbed in which organ? So for that the large intestine will be work. So basically its work is to absorbing the water material present in the food. So what it creates? It creates the water absorption will taken place. See, this is the easy procedure. So we can consider that if, whatever the food we are eating, those food contains the water molecules. So these water molecules will get absorbed in large intestine, and afterwards all the procedure get happening. All the digestion will be happening, because if you remember that in the small intestine we have already seen there are the protein, fats and carbohydrates. Digestion already happened in the small intestine. Okay, these three procedure will be happened during the small intestine. So now only the water material is pending. So for that we have to absorb this, or we have to digest this water, and afterwards the water will digested in our body. The waste water will be removed from our body, and from where? So we can say that from the two things. It gets removed from our urine, and it also removed from our sweat. Okay, so these are the water's procedure. Water absorption take place in the large intestine. This is a small and simple function. You can easily memorize by this single statement. Okay, so we are looking for now the next topic, that will be the anus. So after taking all the digestion take a place, what happened to the solid waste material and what happened to the liquid waste material? So we can say that solid and the liquid waste material gets removed from the anus. Okay, so these are all the parts that we have already studied in the classroom, and also we are now finished in the online lectures. Okay, we'll starting the new topic, and today's new topic is the respiration. Okay, and this will be the most important topic, because all you can see is that if I can tell you that why respiration is necessary to our body. So nutrition process is given us the energy. Okay, but it is not given the sufficient energy to do all kinds of work, because nutrition given us the energy to maintain our body, to protect our body, and to growth our body. But what about to doing some kind of works energy? If we want to do some kind of work, then we need some kind of extra energy in our body. So how can we get that? So for getting these types of energy in our body, okay, the process requirement in our body is called as the respiration. So respiration is basically none of the thing, but it creates the energy, okay, in any organism's body. Okay, not only us, but it creates the energy in any organism. Okay, like single cellular organism, bacteria, viruses. Okay, so in whatever the things, the respiration process will be happened, and whenever the respiration process will be happened, the energy will be created. Okay, and so energy created means it is transferred. Okay, because we have known the law of the universe that energy cannot be created, so nor be destroyed. So in your mind you think that how energy will be created, but energy is converting from food, or from carbon dioxide, or from oxygen, or from carbon dioxide. These types of substances will converting the energies. Okay, so you can understand it very well. We'll look out the first and the significant definition regarding the respiration is that, okay, now respiration, as you can see on your screen, that respiration is the process by which food is burnt in the cells of the body with the help of oxygen to release energy. It takes place in the mitochondria of the cell. If you remember what is the mitochondria, that you already know that where we have started the fundamental unit of life chapter, or the fundamental unit of cells chapter in standard 9, there we have studied about the different types of cell organelles present in our body, in which we have seen the 6 cell organelle present in the cells. Those are cell organelles will be called as endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, lysosomes, food vacuoles, and mitochondria and vacuoles. Okay, so these are the study that we have already seen in the standard 9. If you want to learn it again, then you can see the 9th standards lecture from the previous year. Okay, we are going to discuss that mitochondria is creating the energy. Okay, but from where? So when it gets the oxygen, okay, also it is not necessary that they require the oxygen. The respiration process will be or the energies creations or the conversions process will be also happening when oxygen is absent. Okay, sometime when the oxygen is absent, then also we can say that the respiration process will be happen. Sometimes the mild oxygen will be there, and then also the energies conversion process will be happening. Okay, so we are going to see this first topic. Okay, so we can write like that: different pathways to create different pathways for respiration. Okay, so we'll discuss that the respiration process will be the process of converting the glucose into the energy. Okay, so what it will create, what it needed the glucose. Glucose means carbohydrate. Carbohydrates means starch. What is these three things? These three things when you can write it easily by C6H12O6. Okay, these three things we can write it easily. Okay, now we'll be going to so first the glucose will get distributed or will get divided into pyruvic acid or the pyruvate. Okay, we can say like that. First it will get converted into pyruvic acid or pyruvate. Then three types of phenomena will be happen, and these three phenomena will be most important. So what happened? Okay, what happened in the absence of oxygen? What happened in the moderately available of oxygen? How the respiration will take place in the absence of oxygen? How the respiration will take place in the moderately available oxygen? And how the respiration will take place in the presence of oxygen. Okay, so we'll be look out for that. If the respiration process will be taken during or happening during the absence of oxygen, it means there is no oxygen is present at all, and there the substance or the organism will do the respiration process, that it creates the two product, and that will be called as, it creates first product as ethanol. Now what is this ethanol? Ethanol means some kinds of alcohol. Okay, for example we can write that alcohol. Okay, so it creates the ethanol or alcohol, and it also creates the energy. Now this energy is also useful for the byproduction of the ethanol. Okay, if the moderately available oxygen is available during the respiration process, then what happens? Then three types of product will be produced, and these two products will be produced, and that will be lactic acid, and also it creates the energy. Now if you remember that I have already told you that what is this lactic acid. So when milk get converted into curd, it required the lactic acid, and this lactic acid will be come from the lactobacillus bacteria. So when the dish will put it on the whatever the milk's vessel, then what happened? Then the bacteria inside the milk will when we drops the 2 droplets or the 3 droplets of milk of magnesia into the milk, then these bacteria will created lactobacillus bacteria will created the lactic acid into the milk, and they get converted, and that will get converted into what? That gets converted into the lactic acid, and it will create the curd. Okay, and afterwards it will also create the some amount of energy gets released. Okay, now in the presence of oxygen there will be the 3 products will be created, and that products are carbon dioxide, water, and also it releases the energy. Now this energy is sufficient to do any kind of work in our body. So this way you can easily remember that what happened during the respiration. So respiration will be happening in the 3 ways: whenever the absence of oxygen is available, whenever the moderately oxygen available, or whenever the presence of oxygen is available. So first the glucose gets converted into pyruvic acid or pyruvate, then it also converted in the absence of oxygen into ethanol, and it also created the energy. Whenever the moderately, because respiration process is what? It creates the energy. So in any of the scenario, it will create the energy, but it will create the different kinds of byproduct whenever the different types of scenario is present. So when the absence of oxygen is there, then respiration is taken place, so ethanol will be created, and also energy will get released. Moderately oxygen is present there, and the respiration process will be happened, then lactic acid is created and energy will be released. Presence of oxygen is what we are needed, and what we are doing is that we are releasing the carbon dioxide gas, we are also creating the sweat, so it is H2O, and where we are creating the energy. Okay, so I hope you all have understand the different pathways of for the respiration process. So these are the different pathways. I will give you a 3 seconds of time so that you can take a screenshot or you can write it. Okay. Okay, good. Now we'll be discussing and we'll be seeing that slide in the slide presentation. Okay, I will erase that so that you can see. Okay. Generally, during all the energy state in the different pathways, we are creating the energy, and this energy will be created in the ADP's form. In the ATP's form. Whenever we are doing the nutrition process or the digestion process, we creating the ADP's form of energy. It means we are creating the adenosine diphosphate energy. But that is not sufficient to do some kinds of work, okay, in all the organisms. So they are needed the ATP energy to do every work, and for doing the every work or doing the necessarily work, they needed the ATP. And what is this ATP? This is adenosine triphosphate energy, and this 1 phosphate energy will we get from the respiration process. And this is the scenario that we are doing. The energy released during the respiration is used to make ATP molecules, adenosine triphosphate, from ADP molecule, adenosine diphosphate, and the inorganic phosphate. Okay, so energy is stored in the cells in the form of ATP molecules. When the cells need energy, ATP is broken down in the presence of the water to form ADP, and energy is released. Okay, so that is the simple phenomena that will be happen. Then these are the types of respiration. Already I have explained you these all the types of respiration, but still we are looking for that. So there are generally two types of respiration. That one is the aerobic respiration and another is the anaerobic respiration. So whatever the respiration process will be taken place in the presence of oxygen, it will be called as the aerobic respiration, and whatever the respiration process will be happening in the absence or in the moderately presence of oxygen will be called as the anaerobic respiration. I have already told you in the brief and in the short topic. Okay, we'll discuss that if the oxygen is present, then what happens? Then glucose will converted into pyruvate, and after what happens, then it creates the presence of oxygen, then it creates the three substances, that will be CO2, H2O and energy. Okay, ready? Then anaerobic respiration, it will be whenever the respiration process will be happen in the absence of oxygen or in the moderately presence of oxygen, these types of respiration process will be called as anaerobic respiration. So anaerobic respiration process is what happened? The glucose converted pyruvate. If the absence of oxygen is present, then lactic acid and energy is created. Okay. Also in the in the mild oxygen there is lactic acid and energy is created. In the fully absence of oxygen there will be ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy will be created. Okay. So these are the breakdown of the glucose by various pathways. See, there are some of the linings are missing, but we have already finished that, so I will just draw the lines so that you can understand it very well. Okay, these are the lines, because these are lines the missing. Okay, these are the three lines. Now you can see that glucose will get converted into pyruvate. Pyruvates, if the presence of oxygen is there, there is the CO2, H2O and energy is production. Absence of oxygen, lactic acid. Absence of oxygen or moderately oxygen, they both are come in the same case scenario. Okay, because they will both will be considered in the anaerobic respiration. That's why they have written the absence of oxygen on both the places. Okay, we can write it here, the moderately presence of oxygen. Okay. Now in today's lecture we are going only discuss the parts of human respiratory system. We are only going to discuss the parts of human respiratory system, and that will be the part that is given here. So we'll be going to note down the few parts from the human respiratory system, and that will be written here. Okay. So first and important part of the human respiratory system is nostril, nasal cavity. As you can see it here, here is the nasal cavity. Okay, so this is the important part that we are going to memorize. Then pharynx, then larynx, then this will be called as the trachea. Trachea means what? Trachea means called as the windpipe. Okay, so no need to worry about that. These are the important parts, and these are the parts that we are going to memorize. Then we are going to memorize bronchi. Okay, here are the bronchi, or if there is no written on the bronchi, this is present here. Okay, so then bronchioles and lungs and diaphragm. Okay, we'll be going for the lungs. Okay, there are lungs here. Okay. Okay, these are the lungs. Okay, and diaphragm is present here. Okay, these are the called as the diaphragm. Okay, write it here. These are the parts that we are going to memorize, and in the same sequence that we have memorized this part, the air breathing process will be happening in our body. So that's why we have to memorize in this sequence. Okay, So first nostril, nasal cavity, then pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, lungs and diaphragm. These are the only parts that you have to memorize. Another part that came is will be called as the alveoli, but this alveoli is present in the lungs. Okay, so when we are going to start the process of the human respiratory system, there we are going to discuss some of the few parts that are present in the lungs. So this will be called as the alveoli, and alveoli is the part for what? It will be the part for the balloon-like structure present in the lungs called as the alveoli, because it is the most important and necessary part that we are going to memorize, okay, or we are going to remember that. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for this lecture. If you had any kind of doubt, you can ask me on my personally WhatsApp number, and I hope you have taken care of yourself, and also you are taking care of your parents. Okay, so till then, bye bye everyone, and take care of yourself, and we'll be meeting in next lecture. Bye bye everyone.